Hello and welcome to the fourth video on the Peaceful Earth Warrior channel. Today I'm going to explain what is anxiety, how to deal with it, what is it for the emotional body, and why we need to get rid of it. And in the next video I'm going to give you an exercise which is going to help you to tone down your emotional body so that you could perceive your life at the fullest and not let anxiety to sort of come on the way. So anxiety is a very common issue at the moment, and we all know about it, and everybody is experiencing it in one way or another. Most likely you would experience the chest pain and like chaotic thoughts, maybe. It could be triggered by many different things, including your old childhood patterns, which you wouldn't realize, but they're very important. So if you really need to find the strength to do it yourself. Like, you can go to psychologists, you can go to psychiatrists, but they won't necessarily know what's in your head, right? You will need to explore it yourself, and good way of doing it is to sit down in meditation, close your eyes, and imagine that you're talking to yourself, but 6-year-old. And if you ask that 6-year-old how does he feel about it, he would tell you all about it, and he would even tell you where it is coming from. Not everyone has those issues. Some people have triggers from the teenage years. Teenage years are a bit more complicated because it's like layer upon layer. It's like something wasn't quite clarified within the childhood, and during the teenagehood those were just like clocking up even further, if you know what I mean. So if you are experiencing things like you want to jump on a person just the moment that they are like criticizing your work or something, that might be coming from the teenage years, because the child of like 6 to 8 years would not even think that way, because there is no ego, essentially. The ego is not that developed yet. Ego is developing during the teenagehood. So the personalization stuff come up. So have a think, navigate, because you will need to do that conversation with your inner child one way or another. And during that conversation, I would advise you to comfort your inner child as much as you can. Make sure that you mention that you're now here, and you know nothing's happening, nobody gets abandoned, nobody gets tortured, no chaos around, all sorts of stuff. Take your time, and after this experience you should react less, technically. There is one more way of doing it, which I'm going to show you in the next video. This way doesn't really take into account where your anxiety is coming from. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. We are just turning it down sort of here and now. Your emotional body, coming back to what is anxiety. Anxiety is when your emotional body is reacting to something that your soul shouldn't be doing, or something that your mind doesn't understand, something frustrating. Anxiety could also come from people who think that what you're doing is not important. I just had one of that. Don't worry. People would usually not understand what you're doing. It's fine. It's not on. I mean, if you're reacting to it, that means you've got something inside yourself that tells you that you're hesitating, that this thing that you're doing is currently important. And if you don't hesitate, then they would just go do whatever they want to do with their lives, right? You don't necessarily have to respond to their expectations, because those are the expectations of each and everyone, and there's like 40 something billion people on the planet, so you wouldn't necessarily respond to expectation of each one, right? It's just going to be very frustrating and it's unsustainable. Coming back to the emotional body and anxiety and what it is, it's something that is dragging the energy from your emotional body. If you take it in and if you react, that means that that's relevant to you, and that means that you have some unresolved issues regarding that. An unhealed person would always damage other people with something that they have not healed inside of them, right? But you don't necessarily have to respond to those things. You can just see that, okay, this person has some unhealed wounds, which is not quite my problem. I can certainly help if they ask me to help, but beyond that, I wouldn't do much about it, because it's not my stuff. There is their shit, there's my shit, there's our shit, but they all get separated. I know that there are a lot of people who are caring about other people without necessarily other people caring about them. So my advice would be to those people, give less. Just give less. Otherwise you're giving away too much and you're receiving too little. So this is not a healthy energy exchange, and it becomes unsustainable to your physical body, emotional body, your outside space, and your pyramid. I will draw a diagram for you to understand different layers of your being, because there's more than one. I guess last thing that I want to tell about anxiety is it is manageable. It's not a thing that you cannot necessarily control. However, in order to control this anxiety on a daily basis, if you experience some, you'll need to be aware of your emotional body at all times. In order to be aware of your emotional body, you will need the exercise that I'm going to show you in the next video.